Hi, we're going to do a little bowling today. We got Mr. Smith, Mr. Travel Piece the Pin Setter, Mrs. Neuhaus on camera, and I'm Mr. Patrick, okay? We're not in an actual bowling alley right now. We're going to just talk quickly about scoring. Most people just look up at the computer and hopefully it does the score correctly. But if you understand just the basics, it's very easy. If I could do the math, trust me, you can do the math. Okay, we got Mr. Smith here. If he gets a strike, and this is a basic, a scoring sheet. If he gets a strike, it's 10 plus the next two balls, and then you'd write it right in here, okay? If he gets a spare, you put a slash instead of an X for a strike, and it's 10 plus the next ball. On the 10th frame, you have a potential to get have three balls in the frame. If you get a strike to start off, then you're gonna get two more balls automatically, okay? So you can actually theoretically get 3 strikes in the 10th frame. If you get, say, an 8 and then you pick up the spare, that's the sign for a spare, then you're gonna get one more ball. If I get a 7, say, and then I don't pick up the spare, I will not get a 3rd ball in the 10th frame. So people always wonder about that. So you have a potential high score is 300. So we're gonna show you manually how to keep score. It's very, very simple. If you can do basic arithmetic, you can do it. Mr. Smith, we have a little carpet here. He's gonna start off with a 2-step approach. So your last 2 steps, the most important thing, your last 2 steps, if you're right-handed, if you're lefty, you're gonna do the opposite. You're gonna push the ball away with your right foot. You're gonna bring in, and you're gonna step with your left, and the ball's all the way back. And it really should be, if you watch Mr. Smith, it's like a pendulum. He's going straight back and straight through. Now, more advanced bowlers, keep their finger out and kind of curve it and stuff, but we're gonna put both our middle finger and our ring finger in the 2 holes and our thumb in the 3rd hole and have your pinky and pointer finger kind of out, just stabilize the ball. We're gonna go through, Mr. Smith is gonna bowl, we're gonna do some scoring, just give you the basics of bowling. Go ahead. Okay, so that is, if you want to pan over there, Mr. Neuhaus, that is a 9. So Mr. Smith got a 9. We're going to write 9 right up in here. Okay, so we put a 9 right here. So if Mr. Smith gets the spare, he's going to knock this 1 pin over, hopefully. Then, and you notice his last 2 steps, right, left, roll. Very nice. So we are going to put a little slash here. Okay, we don't put the score in here right now. All right, he got 10 plus the next ball. So whatever the next ball, say it's a 6, we're gonna write 10 plus 6, we're gonna put 16 right here. Okay, so it's gonna be a little skewed here, but if you look at these dots, typically people, when you pick up their bowling ball, a mistake a lot of them make is they just pick them up and they just walk over and they just roll the ball. They have a set of dots and they're black, they're not the bright colors like they are right here on the side. You should always start from the same dot every time to get your footwork down, whether it's a 3-step, 4-step, or 5-step approach. We're using this as the foul line right now, so Mr. Smith can't go by this, but typically these, what are they? There's 7 of them. They're black dots, they're set back. You should find a spot and try to be consistent and start from the same spot. Also, in the lane, you should never really aim at that front pin. You should be aiming at these markers right here. They're typically about 15 feet in front of the foul line. And the nice thing is, if you always roll the ball to the right, say, you keep rolling to the right, you might want to move 1 marker to the left. You don't want to, the problem I always have is I overcompensate and I go too far, now I'm going too far to the left. You don't want to do that. So if you're slightly going to the right, maybe aim at 1 marker to the left. And it's better than aiming at the pins. So Mr. Smith just had a spare in the 1st frame, okay? These are actually called frames. So it's gonna be 10 plus whatever ball he gets right here. Here we go. Right. So if you look over here, I put an X right here, okay? So we got 10 plus the next ball is 10 plus 10 is 20. So I'm gonna write a 20 right here. But if you look, a strike is 10 plus the next 2 balls, spare is 10 plus the next ball. So now I got 10 here plus the next 2 balls. So we'll see what Mr. Smith does on the next one. Here we go. So he has an 8 right here. So here's the weird thing. This is when you're looking at the screen, well, how come my score doesn't go in here? This is 10 plus the next two balls. So he has 18 right now, plus whatever he gets in the last one. It will be that plus that, and we'll go right there in that frame. Here we go. No pressure. All right, so he picks up the spare. So now we got 20 here. So we got 10 plus the next two balls. That's 10 plus 8 and 2 is 10. So 20. 20 plus 20, 40 here. Now I can't put anything here because this is a spare, and a spare is 10 plus the next ball. So we'll see what he gets on the next frame to see what we put in this one right here. Okay, so Glory Days is in the zone right here. Okay, so he's got an 8 right here. So now we got 10 plus 8 is 18 plus 40. We got 58 right here. Now, Mr. Smith, for argument's sake, is not going to pick up this. You're not going to pick up the spare right here. Okay? I'm telling you right now. He's going to actually miss the spare just so we can show what happens. Can't miss. Okay, that's who I work with. Okay, so he didn't pick that up. Pretend you didn't see that, okay? He did not get the 2, all right? He missed it, okay? But can anybody hear Bruce Springsteen singing Glory Days back there? I can hear it, okay? So say he missed those 2, all right? Thank you for the example, Mr. Smith. Good teacher. So now this is called an open frame. So now we finish everything right here. So now 58 plus 8 is 66. So now he has an open frame. So now it's not plus anything. Whatever he gets, say he gets a 5 and a 4, that's 9. You'd add the 9 to the 66. Okay, so now we're on the 10th frame. Mr. Smith kind of had a little drop off here. But he's got a 113, so that's pretty good, especially for Mr. Smith. So now we're on the 10th frame, and potentially you can have 3 balls in this frame. But he has to either have a strike in the first one or pick up the spare in the second one to get that 3rd ball. We'll see what he does. Okay, so we're going to put a little X right here. So now that guarantees, by him getting a strike in the first frame, that guarantees that he will get 2 more balls. Sometimes in a bowling alley, if you don't pay attention to this, it will already cycle to the 3rd frame. And when you start a new game, sometimes the gate drops down, your ball hits it, and they get all upset. So you just have to be aware of how that's working. Here we go. So he's going to get at least 2 more balls now. Okay, so he gets an 8. And remember, a strike is 10 plus the next 2 balls. So we're at 18 right now.
Somehow I ended up with a 7-10 split again.
He's at a 131 right now. He's got a 131 plus his next ball. All right, he gets 1 here. All right, so 132. All right, so he ended up with a 132. Now, my esteemed colleagues can quiet down for a quick second here. I'll try to get through this. 3 balls on the 10th frame. When you're on the bowling alley, okay, make sure it's etiquette. If I get up there and I go get the ball and there's someone next to my right and they're already in there, they're at the dots and they're already starting to bowl, wait until they're done. You don't want to have synchronized bowling. You don't want to walk right next to anybody. When you're hooting and hollering, just be aware of who's on either side of you. You get a strike or something, it's your first one. Something like Mr. Smith, I can see him doing the bowl dance and everything. So just make sure you act appropriate around everybody. Bowling is a great activity. We used to have a lot of bowling alleys in the area. We don't have as many now, but there are places to bowl in the area.